Mangwana ni Malelepo Fukenjani Keklas Vanave Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, the news and current affairs show bringing you everything you need to know happening on the African continent and beyond. You are joined by Ashwin Betty and Diana Master. How are you, Diana?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Ashwin?
I am doing fine, and I can tell you're doing well. You look fantastic.
Oh, thank you. It is a Tuesday.
It is a Tuesday.
That has nothing to do with anything, but
you know, I mean, you get to choose your own energy.
I choose my own energy. I chose my own outfit.
But so we don't choose the news, do we?
We don't choose the news, and let's get right into that. Congo denies claims of coup attempt. South Africa advises 2-minute shower over water shortage. Libyan flood survivors weigh water shortages against landmine risk, and hopes for change in Gabon after years of unpaid pensions. We'll also be bringing you news from Zambia with Mike Suchila a little later on in the show. But stick around for now. We'll take a quick ad break and return with our top stories.
We are so excited to be kickstarting your morning with entertainment. Everything was happening during this past weekend.
Yes.
Exciting news.
Wow, no, she was killing it already.
In my opinion, I don't see anything wrong with him serving the full term.
As well as keeping you informed on the issues that you need to know happening in and around our country.
I mean, it's safe to say that the coup soup has been brewing around several African countries, and it seems like Congo-Brazzaville had gotten a whiff of it, but it won't be the case because the government has refuted recent claims of a coup attempt against President Denis Nguesso, who has held office for an uninterrupted 39 years. These allegations surfaced on social media, suggesting an orchestrated effort by the military to remove the 79-year-old leader from power. President Nguesso was at the same time of these rumors in New York, participating in the 78th session of the United Nations General Assembly. In response to the allegations, Information Minister on Twitter on Sunday said he unequivocally dismisses them, stating the government categorically denies the spread of false information. We wish to reassure the public of the prevailing tranquility and encourage everyone to carry on with their daily activities calmly.
Now, Libyan flood survivors weigh water shortages against landmine risk. People whose homes were swept away by flooding in Libya's eastern city of Derna a week ago faced a dilemma on Sunday of whether to stay and risk infection or flee through areas where landmines have been displaced by the torrents. Thousands of people were killed after 2 dams above Derna broke on September 10th during a powerful storm, bringing down residential blocks lining a usually dry riverbed as people slept. Many bodies have been washed out to sea. The United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs on Saturday cited a death toll of 11,300 from the Libyan Red Crescent. However, a spokesman for the Libyan Red Crescent appeared to cast doubt on that, saying figures are changing and the Red Crescent is not responsible for that. OCHA spokesperson Eric Haneko said it was difficult to get exact casualty figures as the search for bodies and survivors continues, and said the World Health Organization had so far confirmed 3,922 deaths.
Now, there's a new air of optimism among the seniors waiting patiently since the dawn in Gabon's capital, Libreville, to chase up pensions that were never paid. Some say they've received nothing in years. The general who ousted President Ali Bongo Ondimba in a coup on August 30th and is now transitional leader of the oil-rich Central African state has vowed to overhaul the pension system. Just days after taking the helm, General Brice Oligui Nguema unveiled plans to reform the dysfunctional system, which has long doomed many to poverty. Leonie Otoma, a widow and grandmother, has also lost count of the times she has queued at Batavia's Social Security office trying to find out when she can start receiving any money.
Now, from load shedding woes to water woes, South Africa advises 2-minute showers over water shortage. Water suppliers in Johannesburg, South Africa have asked residents of the city and its suburbs to use less water amid an intensifying water shortage that they warn could result in the collapse of the system. Rand Water and Johannesburg Water on Sunday said that high water consumption by residents is putting a strain on the system and has resulted in significantly low water reservoir levels. The companies have asked residents to save water by limiting their showers to 2 minutes, only flushing toilets after long calls, and only washing cars on weekends using buckets. The companies have also asked residents to stop filling swimming pools until water scarcity ends, avoid watering gardens and lawns with clean water, and fix or report water leakages. Johannesburg is currently under the yearly water restrictions, which often last during South Africa's dry season between September and March. In recent weeks, some of the city's residents and institutions such as hospitals have gone without water, causing public discontent.
From limited water to too much water, because on the tourist coast near Cape Town, strong tides combined with violent winds causing a powerful swell over the weekend, with water overtopping the dikes and flooding streets and houses in places. A 92-year-old woman died in the bad weather that began on Saturday. Craig Lambinon, spokesman for the National Sea Rescue Institute, told AFP on Sunday. In a seaside restaurant in Kalk Bay, a fishing village nestled in an open bay on the Atlantic, around 30 kilometers from Cape Town, the water surprised customers by rushing in through the windows. In impressive images widely shared on social networks, the water surging through the streets of several towns near Cape Town washed away bins and parked cars on Saturday. The National Meteorological Institute has issued a warning for the country's 3,000-kilometer of coastline until Monday. Emergency services have called for caution, and several beaches in the region have been closed. After the break, we get into the unfortunate battle across the Victoria Falls as Zambia continues to take on ZANU-PF with Mike Sichula.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouthwatering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
Now, if any political party in Southern Africa was to allege through any of its functionaries that they were part of the killing of a former president, that would raise national security concerns. And I wish this was a hypothetical situation. It really isn't. Because in response to allegations Patrick Chinamasa, senior member of Zimbabwe's ZANU-PF, made regarding the death of Levi Mwanawasa, the family of the late president will formally complain to SADC. Mike Sichula, Uribanji, give us the stories if you can.
Nere Bueno, Moribanji, Africa. You have likely put it, Ashwin. Indeed, the family of the late Zambia's third elected president, Levi Mwanawasa, have that same there in the middle. So President Mwanawasa died while in office in Egypt. So the issue is that the family of his family now, through one of his senior former advisors, Jack Kalala, they held a media briefing over the weekend, which was also attended by his widow, Maureen Mwanawasa. During that, there in the picture. So during that briefing, they did indicate that they have been taken aback by the allegations that Patrick Chinamasa made in his article that has been widely shared on social media. So during that period, during that media briefing, they did indicate that they will formally launch a complaint to SADC to see to it that the matter be discussed carefully. So before that, they are likely to hold another audience. They will seek an audience with Zambia's Foreign Affairs Minister, Stanley Kakubo. So it is yet to be known when this meeting will be held, because the Foreign Affairs Minister will be going to the UN to present President Hakainde Hichilema. But as we speak now, this matter has gotten on the nerves of the family of late President Mwanawasa, as well as members of other members who served under his administration, and a few members of the former ruling party, the MMMD.
All right, now, Mr. Sichula, in a separate event, the Zambian government has denounced opposition political figures who were heard disparaging President Hakainde Hichilema in a Zimbabwe Broadcasting Authority documentary. Please give us the full details.
Yes, so we'll be talking about Zimbabwe and Zambia because it is one thing after another. The issue of the allegation of the president being killed by someone who knows about it has now been added upon by another video that has been circulating on YouTube, where uh, some Zambian opposition political parties figures were interviewed by journalists from Zimbabwe. Now, in this video, they are denouncing the involvement of former vice president who was appointed by President Lungu, President Ichilema, to oversee the SADC elections in Zimbabwe. So in this documentary, they did say disparaging remarks against the former vice president, including President Ichilema. Now, government has not remained quiet. They have come out saying that the politicians involved in that documentary do not mean well for Zambia because, according to chief government spokesperson, she did say that their appearance and views in the recently produced documentary titled The Grand Scheme gives credence to the glaring fact that these individuals do not mind seeing Zambia destabilized in order to achieve their selfish ambitions. End of quote. Quite a strong statement from the chief government spokeswoman. And she has also gone further. Also, again, the youths in Lusaka have also gone further, demanding for the police to investigate how did this Zimbabwean journalist get into Zambia to conduct such a documentary, because they believe he might be a spy that has been sent by foreign entities to cause disturbance in Zambia. So it is one of those stories that will keep updating our viewers.
Understandably so, Mike. I'm just going to give our viewers a little bit of a history lesson over here. Hakainde Hichilema has been an opposition leader for a long time. Some people say he's been persecuted, much like Morgan Tsvangirai was, and there was sort of an alliance caused by an alignment of values, rather, between the opposition party in Zambia and the opposition party in Zimbabwe. So much so that the opposition party in Zimbabwe was invited to Hakainde Hichilema's inauguration. So naturally, ZANU-PF views Zimbabwe as ZANU-PF. And that's where all this tension is coming through, because now ZANU-PF is saying that these are two opposition parties that are trying to destabilize the region, which for any person who, I guess, has some logical political reasoning is certainly not the case, considering all the facts on the table, which actually, believe it or not, leads us into our next story. Moving on, former President Edgar Lungu filed a lawsuit against the government after being denied permission to travel to South Korea for the World Peace Summit, keeping in mind Edgar Lungu, ZANU-PF, two peas in a pot.
You know, this is quite interesting and embarrassing for the moment, because imagine that's the former president, Mr. Lungu, at the airport. He had already, he's done his formalities at the border, at the airport. They stamp his passport, they clear him to get on the plane. Then he gets on the plane. Then moments later, somebody walks to him to say, "Sir, you cannot proceed on this flight because I've received instructions that you did not get permission from authorities to proceed to South Korea." And he gets out of the plane. His luggage has already been lost. Quite an embarrassment, if you say the least. So his lawyers, Makebi Zulu, took the matter to but we were told yesterday that they have withdrawn that case because the date that the court set on which that matter will be was actually going to be overtaken by events, in that the summit in Korea was by then going to have ended. So they have withdrawn that case. But in terms of the embarrassment, government has come out saying that President Lungu needed to get in from cabinet office, a matter which his lawyer, Mr. Zulu, refuses, saying that cabinet does not have authority to grant the former president permission to travel out of the country whenever he feels like. But the argument by the government is saying that Lungu is a state property and is also a state, he holds secrecy of the country. So if he has to travel out, they must know so that they prepare on how to handle it. That's what has been happening. This is the second time that he's been denied to fly out, because he was also denied to fly out to South Africa for medical reviews.
All right, now, Mr. Sichila, in the last of your stories, authorities have given the go-ahead for 2 projects to blend organic fertilizers worth $3 million in an effort to meet the demand for inexpensive agricultural inputs. Please give us more.
Yeah, the Zambia Environmental Management Authority has approved these 2 organic fertilizer blending projects in Lusaka at that value of $3 million. So the 2 projects will be set up in Chilanga district by Maukat Investment Limited, who are planning to inject $2 million, and Golden Horse Investment, which is expected to pump in $1 million in the projects. The project targets to produce fertilizer from organic material such as chicken manure, vegetative waste, black soil molasses, and soil dust. So this is one way of trying to see to reduce the cost of fertilizer, chemical fertilizer that has gone high in terms of farming. So it is expected that once these projects are fully implemented, then farmers will have a choice to choose between organic manure as well as chemical fertilizer. And according to experts, they are saying this is going to reduce pressure on chemical fertilizer, because farmers who want to do small-scale farming will have a choice to choose between organic fertilizer and also chemical fertilizer. Then in the end, the cost of fertilizer is likely to go down and farmers are likely to produce more at the end of the day.
All right, thank you very much, Mike, for bringing us the news stories from Zambia. And just to remind you, a couple of days ago to the date, in the early 90s was when SADC was formed. The leaders of Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Namibia converged on Namibia for that particular meeting. Oh, how the times have changed. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you very much. Africa, good morning.
Africa, good morning indeed. Let's head to the weather. Let's dive into our economic news, starting in Kenya, where the cost of fuel hits a record high on Friday after the energy regulator revised pump prices, adding to the economic hardship facing millions of people. The announcement by the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority brings the retail price of a litre of petrol to an unprecedented level of more than 200 Kenyan shillings. Kenyans already face a severe cost of living crisis, with rising prices for many staple goods, a raft of new taxes, and a plunging shilling.
In our next story, the company Aeroportos de Mozambique has announced the impending rehabilitation and modernization of all its infrastructure, while analysts maintain that given the company's calamitous financial situation, this should not be a priority. According to the company, rehabilitation and modernization is to begin this year, with the start of work scheduled for the third quarter. However, the company faces significant financial changes, accumulating losses of almost 820.5 million meticais in 2022.
Let's head to the economic indicators before we return with your sport. Let's start with Formula One as Carlos Sainz won the Singapore Grand Prix for the Ferrari on Sunday to end Formula One leader Max Verstappen's record run of 10 wins in a row and shatter Red Bull's dream of going through the season unbeaten. McLaren's Lando Norris and Mercedes' Lewis Hamilton completed the top three, with Sainz only 0.81 to clear at the checkered flag.
Ethiopia's Gudaf Tsegai smashed the women's 5,000-meter world record with a run of 14 minutes and 0.21 seconds on Sunday at the Eugene Diamond League finale, breaking Kenyan Faith's Kipyegon's previous mark set in June. Kenyan Beatrice Chebet finished second in 14 minutes 5 seconds .92, while Ethiopia's Egjayu Taye was third in 14.21.52.
And seven-time world snooker champion Ronnie O'Sullivan gave away his trophy after winning the Shanghai Masters on Sunday and said he eventually wanted to get rid of all his career memorabilia. England's O'Sullivan beat Luca Bressow 11-9 to claim a fourth successive Shanghai title, but was not the least bit interested in adding another trophy to his cabinet. Talk about being the greatest of all time. Now we're going to swing over to France as Monsieur Ari Hohad brings us the best from the World Cup.
Good day everyone, international news, Rugby World Cup news 2023 on Sports Wrap here at the Stade de Velodrome. It is here in Marseille. It's a big stadium where Namibia will play on Thursday against France. Windy, as you can see, probably. I don't have lots of hair, but the hair is moving around a little bit in the wind. It's been windy for a few days where we were in France, but we're not going to focus yet on Namibia and France. They will pick their team. Namibia will pick their team, or announce a team on Tuesday. And news we can go to is what happened just yesterday. That is rugby results. It is South Africa that played against Romania in Bordeaux. It was a comfortable win for South Africa, 76 points to 0. South Africa beating Romania in that game. Let's hear from Coach Jacques Nienaber. The question to him was if the players are kept into the loop, especially with all the plans that he's got with the reserves, especially with Hooker being out, Malcolm Marx. He's playing a few players out of position. Let's hear from Jacques Nienaber.
The players knew what we want to achieve on different levels, on a plan level. I mean, we wanted to give Marco some time as a hooker, scrumming, throwing in, you know, but it can only happen if we're in a good position, you know. Otherwise, you can't make those little plan changes from a selection point of view or a substitution point of view. And again, we wanted to get Bongi off after 40, to get Dion and Marco sharing the hooker load in the second half. But that can only happen when they did a proper start. So there was some internal pressure on us. But yeah, I must say, from a defensive point of view, like I said, we really gave Romania a lot of attention in the week. We were well prepared. We had our defense session at Stade Mayol in front of, I think there was a couple of thousand people. It was an open session for us, so there was a nice vibe at the training session, and we worked really hard to make sure that we are well prepared for them from a defensive point of view. So obviously happy with the performance that went out there. The fact that it went to 76 points or went to 0 points, I mean, sometimes the scoreboard goes for you or against you, but the effort was there, the intensity was there, and that I really enjoyed.
Yes, still with Africa. Good morning. Let's take a look at the highlights. Congo denies claims of coup attempt. Libyan flood survivors weigh water shortages against landmine risk. Kenya fuel prices hit all-time high. Ethiopia's Tsegai shatters women's 5,000-meter world record.
Catch Africa Good Morning on oneup2.com, DSTV 285, GoTV 25, and all Namibia Media Holdings social media platforms. From Diana Master and Ashwin Berry, Sera Jwakanaka.